we're saying
So,
that
we're
Stingray didn't. Okay, go ahead. Yeah, we're live. So yeah, go ahead. Just get it started. Go ahead.
you gotta do the intro, bro. You gotta do the intro here.
People don't like the intro anymore. They're hating on it. We need to update it, and I haven't had a chance to.
Man.
You know what I'm saying? Just go.
All right. No intro today. We're not doing an intro. All right.
We're just gonna go raw dog it. Okay, straight into it. Okay.
All right, everybody, we are back. It is Taped Online, even though we were just on yesterday, or I dropped something yesterday. We just weren't on yesterday, but Taped Online is back. You guys already know what to do. Hit the subscribe button. Subscribe. You already know what to do with that. Go ahead and follow us on Twitter as well at the Mark John NFL, at BD Williams 18, right? And also hit the like button if you like it. Hit the dislike button if you don't like it. Leave a comment if you like it. Leave a comment if you don't like it. All right. Now, I'm sure everybody, we're online. And I don't know what title did you put on here? What's the title?
Combine reaction.
Oh, combine reaction. We're doing it. Okay. All right. So doing a combine reaction show. Talk about my time out there in the combine. I'm actually doing like a cool little edit thing I kind of made that I'm trying to put together once I stop being lazy. But I'm gonna put that together, guys. And we're gonna get some cool. I got all like interviews from every day. I didn't get the safeties, guys. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was exhausted. I tried my hardest to get to those safeties, man. But I was like, man, how many safeties are the Raiders gonna draft? Well, I watched they're gonna draft like 4 of them, and they're gonna draft like all 4, like all 4 rounds. A different. They're gonna like double. They're like trade up for 2. You know what I mean? They're just because I did that. So,
do you think when you went to the combine, do you think that you got any information from places that you wouldn't see on TV or on Twitter that now you feel like more informed, like going to the combine made you that much more informed?
I think so. I think so. I'm way more informed on the draft prospects a lot, just from more of a personality standpoint too, and getting to know some of these guys' character and talking to them and hearing them talk and hearing them answer questions and how they handle things. You just kind of look at them a little different because that's a long day for them. All right. This is basically like them waking up. They wake up probably earlier than I had to wake up, which I had to wake up at 6 every single day. So they probably had to wake up earlier than that, right? They probably went to sleep like maybe 8 hours before that on the dot, right? Then they had to wake up, go through all those meetings and whatever, and then the next day they wake up, they do bench press and all that stuff. I think the combine as an event says a lot about players' character than we talk about the measurements and all the other stuff. I think the whole process is kind of like a test. Like, how do you go through this process? Like, how are you going to work out? Or are you just going to skip a workout just because you're just going to skip it? Or what are you doing through this process? How are you handling the interviews? Are you waking up on time for the interviews? Are you late? I when some of these guys show up late, I'm like, did they not wake up on time? Like, what are they doing? Like, oh, they're getting medical checkups. Medical checkups. Yeah, okay, bro. You're late because of a medical checkup. So it's like small things like that you look at from the combine. Just like, I did my top 10 wide receivers. Glenn asked me if Treylon Burks, his combine affected my ranking with him. I was like, yeah, it did. Because I'm like, why aren't you prepared? Like, you're faster than that. I know you are. I know you're faster than that. I know you jump higher than that. I've seen it. So, there's all these things about you. So you obviously came in, and you could tell from his press conference, he came in like he was, I'm the first wide receiver off this board. Right. And Drake London kind of did too, but Drake London had to work out. So, So Burks.
I love those players. I love those players.
Yeah.
Who don't prepare for the combine, and they're like, yeah, I'm happy for him when they talk about how fast another player ran or whatever. Like, I'm happy for him, but I play ball. And they're so confident in like how good they are that they're like, I'm not going to a sprint coach for 2 months to work on a 40. Like, I'm doing drills. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So maybe that's the case for Treylon Burks. A little bit of arrogance, you're saying, not getting prepared for the combine. We didn't see Drake London, but you saw those guys interview But there's another interview that I'm interested in. You talking about before we move on here, Christian Watson. You asked him a question. I saw you posted on Twitter about his run blocking. But I'm going to talk about that guy a little later because we are going to talk about the measurables. But while we're talking about like the intangibles, that was a guy I think who had an impressive response to you.
Oh yeah, I think he's a first round guy already. I think I think he's there. I mean, you have a great Senior Bowl, have a great combine, and then I already know he has a great interview. That dude loves football, and he wants to play football, and that's all he cares about, and that's what he wants to do. And just him talking about blocking, right? It was like his eyes lit up a little bit. I'm like, oh man, there's something wrong with you, bro. Your wide receiver you're a tight end, bro. Like, you know what I mean? I even said on the wide receiver show, like, does he get past Mike McDaniel? I don't know. I don't know if Mike McDaniel's gonna Mike McDaniel's probably just fall in love with that guy. He's probably just having cracking jokes with him and watching his blocks with him like 8 times their visit. Look at this block that you made. Just, is he going to get past the Shanahans and guys like that? Like, they're going to love him. Like, Sean, I mean, if he falls in the second round where, like, the Rams get the pick, like, is he going to get past Sean McVay? No way. Those dudes that love that raw type of blocking wide receiver, and I see Josh McDaniels liking that type of dude, too. So that's why it wouldn't shock me if they took him there. You definitely fall in love with him. He's a Senior Bowl guy. Definitely really fast. What the Raiders need really fast. I just worry about his hands a little bit. He's Will Fuller to me. I feel like he's bigger Will Fuller. Will
Fuller's what about Marquez Valdes-Scantling?
No, he can catch better than that.
Okay, because you're talking about his hands, so that's the first thing. That's the first place I went because I was like,
he can catch better than
fast
that
guy can't catch.
It was just one time he just clapped. That made me worried. Like, you're trying to.
I see.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like, but he has more consistent hands, and I think that he's the type of guy you can give him a reverse, and he's got great vision when he's running with the football too, because he can run back kicks.
Yeah, the kick returner aspect.
Yeah, he's versatile, man. He's definitely a versatile player, but I'm excited about him. And another guy I like interview was Elam, Kyrie Elam. That was a great interview, man. When he called himself Darrell Reeves, that was hilarious. And then the best part of his interview too, when they asked him, because they asked the guy, that's why I didn't want to. I got tired of Saturday because I didn't want to hear who everybody modeled their game after and who was their opponent that they went against that gave them the toughest matchup.
Okay.
It's the same question every single day, right? For every single prospect. Every single prospect answered those questions, and his answer for the best player he faced was some dude from Sanford, Montrell Henderson. He was like, Montrell Henderson from Sanford, man. Yeah, he put up like 2 touchdowns on us already, so I had to move inside and shut him down a little bit. But he was definitely the most toughest guy I faced. And he faced like John Mechie. And he smiled after he said it. He was literally trolling everybody.
Trolling everyone.
Montrell Henderson from Sanford. I was like, I didn't think
he's like, nah. These Alabama guys, nah, they weren't that tough. Hilarious.
SEC.
It was nothing for me. But
Montrell Henderson, bro, from Sanford, that was nice. He was real nice right there.
Pop on the tape from Alabama, and you'll see what he's talking about. He strapped those dudes. Elam is legit. I'm going to talk about him a little later on when we're talking about maybe some like rankings and where people might go, and just we'll dabble into that a little bit. Flipping to or sticking on to the defense side of the ball. Interested because you were there for the defensive line, right?
Yes, it was.
I think there's some really enticing talent on the defensive line. Obviously some really big names, but there might also be some second, third, even fourth round guys who also have really exciting athletic, potential as well. Can you talk to, anyone on the defensive line group stick out to you now that Russell Wilson's in the division, pass rush, got to get after these quarterbacks. It's important. So any defensive lineman that you think, stood out to you?
I mean, of course, Devontae Wyatt, which I really love. I mean, I'm a big Devontae Wyatt fan. That's some guy that, if that's the option 22 that I would love. I mean, be super excited for that. If they got him, be awesome. I mean,
Yeah.
he's great interview too. Um, Great personality, right? Definitely great guy that you could tell that they just love football, man. Those Georgia guys are coached and well, put together, and they are definitely, there's a track record of them being good in the NFL too. Like, I mean, there's not a lot of Georgia players, defensive players that came under Kirby Smart that came in the league that are straight up busts. You know what I mean? Or just right.
You have a point,
It's
sir.
okay. So
Yes.
I really like his potential, and I really feel like he's the cleanest of all of Georgia's defensive tackles. Like Walker and Davis are the freaks. Okay, they are the freaks.
Yes.
Devontae White is a little bit of a freak. He ran 4.7 at 307 pounds. So let's not sniff at
That's
that.
the craziest part
Right.
is he is like in a normal draft, Wyatt would be like, oh, this is a really incredible athletic, profile, everything like that. But like it's overshadowed by like these insane teammates of his. The entire Georgia defense is like
Yeah.
how. How is
Yeah.
how is the entire defense running 4.5s except for the defensive linemen who are running 4.8s? Get out of here with that.
See, and the
That's
thing is,
ridiculous.
he's actually the best football player out of those guys. He's the best football player on the field.
Okay.
Like Walker is just an athletic freak, so he beats some guys, but technique wise, Walker needs a little work. You got to coach him up a little bit. But he's an athletic freak. I mean, Jordan Davis has no technique at all. I don't know. If he could beat you with his quickness, then he could beat you. But he's all you have to put him together. I mean, I feel like you have to work on him. You got to get his pad level down. How can you consistently get his pad level down where he's not standing straight up trying to do this? And, he's such a work in progress that it's a project. You better have some defense tackles in front of him, because I don't know if he's going to be able to come in day one and just dominate, because he's just not going to be able to use his incredible burst that he has and just get past people. It's going to work sometimes, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's not going to work against some of the better offensive guards here that play in the league. So they're gonna be like, oh, you have high pad level, I'm just gonna get lower than you, and then he's gonna be standing straight up. That's my worry with Jordan Davis. You better have a damn good plan for him.
I think Jordan Davis, like if Dexter Lawrence went like what was it, 15?
Yeah.
Davis is gonna go before the Raiders pick. I'm pretty confident in that. I think a player like that, just the profile that he has, it's literally the best athletic profile of a defensive tackle ever.
Ever.
So he's not. Yeah. So he's not literally ever. He's not getting to the Raiders. But what about Perryon Winfrey? This is a guy that I keep on hearing his name pop up. Interested with his measure, like looking at his measurables and everything. Can you talk to me about Winfrey? Are you familiar with him?
Yeah, I'm familiar with Winfrey. I think Winfrey is an athletic freak too. On tape, I really didn't like his tape. I thought he didn't have a lot of moves. I thought he had one move. He just kind of like to run into people with his shoulder. I didn't think he had a lot of wiggle, and he didn't offer a lot in the run game. So some people, he just such a how do I say this? Some of these guys are just athletic freaks, and they're in college.
Yeah.
Right. So he's just wiggling past people. Some people he can just beat with his speed. And then sometimes you saw at the Senior Bowl where he really showed out is what he was able to beat people in the one-on-ones with that speed and that power that he has. But he doesn't have a lot of moves. He kind of just uses one move to rush at you and rush at you hard with Perryon Winfrey. So he does have some upside. But, I got an Oklahoma source that has some, says some things about him, that might not work out in Las Vegas. So we'll see how they got to do that. That's their job. It's not mine. They got to do their background on that and decide, what kind of player that he is or what kind of person he is to bring him in. But Winfrey, he does have good upside. He has a lot of upside. I don't know if I do anything with him in the first round though. I think that's day 2 guy. I wouldn't touch him in the first round because he is literally all upside. I don't think his tape is that great. Kid from UConn. You want me to talk about?
Yeah, the kid from UConn. Everyone's talking about the kid from UConn in the chat here.
Travis Jones had a great workout too. I think he ran like a 4.92. Definitely awesome player. I don't know what he weighed in at, but I know he's a pretty big guy. Definitely has a lot of pass rush upside. So that's somebody you draft though. I mean, he might get pushed in the first round, but their defense tackle. So I mean, we're talking about
6'4", 325 for.
He ran 4.92.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk about him later.
yeah. So he's a freak too, man. He's a freak too, and he had a great Senior Bowl, right? He's probably the best defense tackle at the Senior Bowl besides Devontae White. I think Devontae White and Jermaine Johnson. I think they left early because I mean, why? you know,
Right.
They left early, and so Wyatt and Jones. Jones has great hands and great power, and he's explosive and he's quick. That dude can play.
Is he there at 22?
See, they're just defensive tackles. Like we did this last year with Moreg. Remember, like we have Moreg should have went right, and he's ended up right there, and the Raiders had to trade up for him. Like he was falling because he's a safety. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
but DTs are more valuable than safeties, though.
You think so? I mean, look at Christian Barmore last year, right? And he had 48 pressures this year. So I mean, everybody kind of missed on him a little bit, right? So I don't know if Travis Jones goes first round. I think they're going to push up some of these wide receivers. I think some of these wide receivers are going to get pushed up because we just love offense. We love offense. We're such an offensive-centric league now. Defense is a little bit of an afterthought. So that's why, I was texting you about on Saturday how nobody was there for the best group of players in the draft to watch the DBs. Like the DBs are the best players in this draft, and nobody was there. So that kind of tells you where this league is at. But the wide receivers and quarterbacks was packed. Like it was everywhere, right? Everywhere, right? So it's interesting to see how this league looks at defensive players. It's going to push up some of these wide receivers. I know they are. There's some of these wide receivers that you don't even think are going to go first round or go earlier than you think are, because it's an offensive central league and everybody feels like they got to get a wide receiver. They got to get a quarterback. That's the thought process right now. So, and everybody's desperate. So I think some of these defensive players are going to fall further than we think, man. And they always do. So,
hey, sign me up for that. Sign me up for that. Anything else that you wanted to discuss about your visit to the combine before, we just talk about, this is one of the fastest combines ever. Yeah. There's some brilliant, anything other than that you want to talk about?
Yeah. I think there's a chance that like a wide receiver could fall to them too. I mean, I'm talking about pushing up wide receivers, but
we're gonna get into the who's gonna be left.
Okay, we'll get that.
All right. Okay. So yeah, let's just transition. Before we transition,
how about that?
Quarterback, yeah, I know. I think we all know that, yeah.
And Desmond Ridder probably the only. He's going to be the first one taken. I'm calling my shot. Desmond Ridder, first one quarterback taken. Remember this, guys. It's calling my shot. I might be wrong.
All right, Marcus says it.
Call him a shot.
He looked good out there. He's a good leader, I think, too.
Bro, man, his interview was incredible. Just for me, I just talking to him. That dude was like, he want me headed. I was ready to put on pads a little bit. So
okay,
I couldn't imagine a quarterback coach or something, or like he's a leader. He's a leader.
Right. Look, that's what you need. We see that each and every year. Okay. Look. Okay, I'll say this. Okay. Yeah. Look at Carson Wentz.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He's on his how many different teams and how many different years? Okay.
Yeah.
But when he was coming out, it was like this guy's 6'4", 220, 230, runs a 4.6 or 4.5 or something like that. Rocket arm, like the talent level was out of this world, right? Fantastic athlete. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Great talent level. And then when you look at someone like Dak Prescott, who's shorter, slower, not as big an arm, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what did Dak Prescott have that you can't measure at the combine, right? Like you're talking about all the intangible stuff, what you find out about this personality, right?
Yeah.
And not saying that there's something wrong with Carson Wentz, but it's not an insult to say someone's not the same leader as someone like Dak Prescott, who everyone's like, wow, this guy's intangibles, through the roof. He took over for Tony Romo, didn't blink, all that stuff, right? He hasn't flinched. Okay, so you look at those guys. one was a much better prospect coming out. One was a 5th-round pick, but he had the intangibles. Russell Wilson's another guy with the intangibles, right? So that's what you want for a quarterback. You know, all the big, fast, tall guy who can throw really far and all that stuff like that. That doesn't always pan out.
Yeah, but he's big and fast too.
But he's big and fast. So right. So he's got all those.
As I say, he's big and fast. Ran a pro offense, and he's just, and he went to Cincinnati, and they automatically started winning. And he just has he has a leader charisma that you just feel. Like, it's weird. It's hard to explain. Like, he wasn't even trying to be funny. Sometimes he's being dead serious. And I just think it's hilarious. He says he wants to be Ryan Tannehill because he manages the game and wins. It's like that.
Okay.
It's just.
I guess he wasn't watching football last year.
He wasn't, but it's just. And like somebody kept asking, like, "You really want to?" Yeah, he's like, "Yeah." He's like doubled down. He was like super, and he was like shocked. The guy was like questioning that he wanted to be like Ryan Tannehill. He's like, "Dog, I want to manage the game because I want my team to win. Like, I'm not trying to."
He's what he's saying is,
I loved every second
of it. He wants to play with Derrick Henry and AJ Brown. That's what he's trying to say, right? That's pretty good.
Action. Yeah. Anyways, keep going.
Desmond Ridder. Okay, so I'm 100% on board with Marcus. He's talking about the intangibles. That's so much more important than the times, the measurables, everything like that, right? I'm 100% with you.
Yeah.
But there's a reason why we do the combine, right? We want to see how these guys stack up. Okay. Yeah. And so some of these athletic testing, some of the measurables, the point is to see how they stack up over the ages, over all time. Right, like that's why these guys take down this data. And people were saying this is the fastest combine ever, the most sub 4.4s that they've ever seen, right? The most 4.3s they've ever seen, the most 4.2s they've ever seen, all this stuff, right? Fastest combine ever. So I dug into it, okay? But there was a couple things that I was interested in because I was noticing tall guys were running really fast, right? And usually short guys run fast in the 40, okay? But we're seeing some tall guys running really fast, okay? So I dug into it, okay? And in the entire history of the combine, before this year, only 10 players who were 6'4" or taller broke sub 4.4s. Okay, run a sub 4.4 40, 6'4" or taller. And now we have an additional 3 just this year: Tariq Woolen, Amari Barno, Christian Watson. We already talked about Christian Watson. I think Christian Watson could sneak into the first round, according to what you've been saying. Maybe one of these other guys, who knows? I haven't really gotten into their tape yet. I haven't heard too much about them. I'm guessing that they're going to be like a mid-round kind of player, Woolen and Barno. But when I do, crank that film out, I'll figure out, what I think about those guys. So 3 incredible, like you see the guys that are on this list. Calvin Johnson's on this list. Jason Owe was a beast, this last year. Isaiah Simmons, right? Some interesting athletic profiles on this list. And we got 3 entering the NFL. And there's another thing I want to talk about. This is a list of the 10 fastest 40s in combine history for a player who weighed 315 pounds or more. Okay. Half of the list happened this weekend. Half of the list, 5 of the 10 happened this weekend. Before this, only 5 players had ever run 4.92 or faster at 315 pounds. And now another 5 just this weekend. Okay, so everyone was talking about Jordan Davis, rightly so. This is a freak athletic profile, 6'6", 340 running that time. Never been seen before. Literally, it's like him and Calvin Johnson are like 2 freakiest athletes that they've ever measured, okay? But you were talking about this guy, Travis Jones, right? If not for Jordan Davis, we'd be probably talking about Travis Jones because that is an incredible combine that he had as well. Yeah. And then Penning, Lucas, and then this guard named Paul. I haven't heard about this guard named Paul, but so there you go. So, I mean, yeah, I'm with you. We want to know about the intangibles, especially coming to Vegas. We saw what happened with Ruggs. Yeah. We saw what was happening with, some of the young players running into some problems in Vegas, right? You want to get the guys who have incredible character. The intangibles are there, right? But for me as a fan, I also want to see this team get one of those freaks that we just saw. Okay? Just one. It doesn't have to be the entire draft strategy. Like, we don't got to go all the way back to Al Davis, but get one of those guys that I highlighted, okay, that ran a freaky time. Let's see what they could do. Draft them accordingly to their slot, and let's see what they could do in a Raiders uniform. That's just my pitch.
I don't know. The more that I look at it, I mean, Travis Jones might not get out the first round if he had that. The more they look at those numbers, those athletic numbers, he definitely don't. That's definitely first round defensive tackle. Yes, he
Yeah.
does. He has the tape to match it, and then he had a great Senior Bowl, and then he has freakish athleticism. Yeah, that's definitely a first round defensive tackle. So I mean, that's definitely something the Raiders should look at 22.
Okay.
Now that I look at it and
Okay.
I think about that, because
Okay.
I mean he dominated against Clemson. I mean they couldn't block him, and those are supposed to be the premier ACC players, and he's from his little UConn. He's out there just kicking their butts, right? And then he goes to the Senior Bowl and starts kicking their butts too. So it makes sense to me. That dude move. It's odd to see somebody that big like him move that quick too. And see Jordan Davis
Yeah.
gets talked about, but Travis Jones has
Similar.
the technique.
Okay.
He has technique. He's not as athletic, but it's close with the technique, right? Because he keeps his pads low, has great hands. I mean, I really love his tape, man. That's why he's able to dominate the Senior Bowl like that, because his technique is fantastic. I don't know who that coach at UConn. I don't know who the D-line coach is, but he's probably not there anymore. I bet. I bet he got promoted because that dude is nice. Whoever coached up Travis Jones. Yeah, because they got the most out of that athleticism. Because Jordan Davis is the freak of those defensive tackle group, right?
Yeah,
100%. But Travis Jones and Devontae Wyatt are more ready to play. Like if you brought those guys in, you probably get more impact from those two than you would from Jordan Davis. So like, what do you do? Do you bet on the upside? You better have. I don't know. Are you hire? I don't know who do you hire to maximize Jordan Davis? Like it has to be. I mean, how does everybody else at Jordan?
You got to get like
I don't know.
You got to get Calais Campbell. It's a pad level. You got to get Calais Campbell to work with him. Another guy who's freaky tall. Because really, like you look at Aaron Donald. What is Aaron Donald? 5'11"?
6'1", yeah.
Okay, the pad level is there. You know what I'm saying? Like it's already built in, right? Mm-hmm. For guys who are like 6'6", like guards are 6'3" in the NFL.
Yeah.
You know, it's a struggle to get your pads underneath those guys. And so like again, great combine, great athletic profile. Can he play football now? Like, can he play in the NFL? I'm sure he can. I'm not saying he can't, but yeah, you're like to your point. There's other things that we got to figure out about him. It's not just how fast he runs and everything.
Exactly.
But all these guys,
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that this is a good because you're talking about maybe the UConn defensive tackle being there. Let's go through the list. Okay, we kind of did this right before we rolled in, but let's go through the list. Who do we think is for sure gone? Okay, for sure gone by the time the Raiders get to 22. And then we can, maybe try to discuss who's left over. Okay. So we both agreed the defensive ends, Thibodeau, and Hutchinson. Okay.
Gone, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Kyle Hamilton's definitely going to be gone.
Yeah.
Sauce Gardner is going to be gone.
Mm-hmm.
The tackles, Aquanu, Neal. I say Penning. I'm hearing a lot of people. Zerline, Nagy, Senior Bowl guy. Duke Manyweather, they're all saying Penning's gone.
Yeah.
Not gonna, get to the 20s. I know.
Good luck with that team.
Okay. Yeah. So Penning's gone. So what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 7 players so far. Who else? We gotta get some wide receivers that need to be gone. A couple quarterbacks need to be gone as well.
I'm not gonna say any wide receivers are locked to not be there at 22. I'm not gonna say it. I can't. I'm not going to go there because
London's hurt and because Burks had a bad combine.
Yep, and then I don't know what they think of Garrett Wilson and Olave.
Yeah.
I think.
What about Garrett Wilson? Is Garrett Wilson a lock to go before 20 though?
No. I don't think so. I mean, it's gonna be a weird draft, man. It's hard to predict what he's good. Huh?
You like Ritter going, right?
I think Ritter goes higher than people think. Yes, I think he goes really high.
Well, I mean, we got to get a quarterback out of here. We know at least 1 or 2 quarterbacks, minimum, are going to go.
I think he's the first one. I don't know who's going to do it. It's not going to be the Lions. I know that because they're not that dumb. They're not going to pass up on whoever's going to be it. Don't be dumb. But somebody's going to take him. Like I still don't rule out the Commanders, and I still don't rule them out. Not taking Ritter. Do not rule it out. I mean, you basically got his hits. Carson Wentz is my comp for Desmond Ritter, basically. So I mean, he can learn how to play quarterback from his comp. Okay, we got some guards. Here we go. Okay, thank you for the help, EC. Linderbaum, he's gone. Well, I don't know. I mean, he had really short arms. I don't know.
How short?
Weird. Like 29.
29?
Yes.
Oh, see, I don't know then. Sorry. Hey, EC, I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying, EC. I know what you're saying.
They're like really short, like short.
Yeah. I mean, I have longer arms than that.
I mean, the thing is, when I say that, people will be like, "Well, you're not saying he's gonna be not a good player. He's probably still gonna be a stud. Obviously, he's an Iowa offensive line. He's gonna be a stud. It's just value type of thing. Like somebody gonna take him.
Not only
20.
that,
maybe.
And here's another reason. Okay,
but if he's there at 22, man, run the card up. Somebody.
Yeah. Okay. I like that. But here's the thing. Someone pointed this out too. This is just a real quick aside for Linderbaum in terms of his draft value. Okay.
Yeah.
The way I guess I was reading this article, when players get tagged, whether it's a franchise tag or restricted rights or whatever it is, right? Tag. Okay, and then that means that they're gonna get paid on like whatever scale for that year. Okay, and guards get lumped together with tackles. Okay, so if you tag a guard, like at the end of his like you draft a guard in the first round, and then you want to go ahead and tag him to have that option or whatever, you have to pay him like a tackle.
Yeah.
So is it worth it? Right. So that's why a lot of people are saying there's no reason to draft a guard in the first round. Okay. Same thing goes for an off-ball linebacker because Von Miller and Khalil Mack are technically, and TJ Watt are technically linebackers. Okay. Now, all linebackers who are first-round picks, if you pick up that fifth-year option or whatever, they're getting paid like an edge rusher. So it doesn't make sense to draft a linebacker in the first round. It doesn't make sense to draft a guard in the first round, right? From that standpoint. But yeah, if you get a guy like, who's the Colts guy? Quentin Nelson. Yeah. You get a guy like Quentin Nelson in the first round. Okay, this is going to be like an all-pro first day in the NFL. Are we saying Linderbaum is that good? He can't be that good of a prospect because his arms are short. Sorry.
It's just true.
But that's part of it. Like you have to be as big as you could possibly get. You have to be as a prototype type big to be like, okay, slam dunk. Like you can't say that if the guy has a short arms or this or that, right? You can't say that.
Yeah, and that's my thing with short quarterbacks. People get mad at me about that when I say it. Like, you're not taking a 6'1" defensive end anywhere in the first round. So why should we take a 6-foot quarterback?
There you go.
Sorry, bro. Like you don't hit the. I'm sorry. You can't ride this ride unless you're just awesome. Unless you're Bryce Young. And I'm watching you find your lanes and be Mr. and know that you're short. Have some self-awareness. I don't want to hear it. So.
Okay, so I think like that's 8. So that's 8 people that we were able to single out. We didn't get to a consensus on Linderbaum, it seems. Anyone else popping up at you? Sanders, J. Sanders, Ojabo. Those guys look like first round.
Ojabo. Miyagi Sanders ran a 4.7, and he's 200 something pounds. He lost
80.
He's like
he lost.
He was like 225
pounds,
and he ran a 4.7. Okay. So
no, it's over for him. Ojabo.
He's like late day 2.
Yeah, that hurt him. That sucks.
Bad.
Yeah. Anyone else? Cross. Someone said Cross. We discussed that pre-show and we said we can't rule him out for 22. There's a chance that he's still there.
Okay. We got some more D's. I would say Trayvon Walker. I think there's no way. Georgia,
no way.
Athletic freak. He's not getting 20. He's 275, 4'1". What are you like?
Oh yeah, Karlaftis. Karlaftis.
He's an interesting one. He had a good vertical. I don't know what was his
It's like a 30. It's like a 38-inch vert or something like
Yeah.
that. Okay, because the comp is Cleveland Farrell. That's what everyone's saying.
I don't like that. I don't like it. I don't like it.
And so,
I don't like
but
it.
you can't say the comp's Cleveland Farrell. He tested way better than Cleveland
Yeah,
Farrell.
he's vertical leap. Now, Mike, this is gonna sound crazy, guys. Don't wow out on me. Okay. I'm gonna come with this comp because I liked that he thought this comp too. But he does remind me of his speed to power reminds me of Khalil Mack. It does. I'm not gonna lie to you. It really does. His speed to power is pretty incredible. And that vertical leap, you could see the explosiveness. Like his speed to power is pretty nuts. And he even said that he's like, I model my game after Khalil Mack. And I thought back to the tape that I watched. I was like, what are you talking? Like, well, actually, like he kind of got me with that. But it's just like it's hard.
So he has a hump move.
He has a hump move. Yeah. It's pretty nasty, bro. His speed to power. He doesn't do anything else. I mean, he just that's all he does. It's powerful. He's a powerful dude. He can move you. He can move anybody. I believe. But if you can't do anything else, man, I mean, that's what I'm saying. You guys play these tackles, and you have one move. I'm just gonna here comes Mr. Speed Rush. Like you got to do something else, and that's how these guys can become great. So yeah, you got great speed to power, but you know, what else are you gonna do at this point? So that's my thing with Karlaftis. But yeah, that's speed to power. His speed to power is nuts. You just have to watch it. I don't know.
What do you think? Is it
what?
Is he gone? It sounds like he's going to still be in play.
No, he's not. He'll still be a play at 22.
Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 for sure. Thibodeau, Hutchinson, Hamilton, Sauce Gardner, Aquanu, Neal, Penning, Ritter, Ojabo, Trayvon Walker, and Jordan Davis. That's all I have for sure gone. Okay,
I think so. I agree with that.
Okay, and so then that leaves wide receivers, right? We talked about, any of these guys could potentially be in play. What do you think about Drake London? I heard you telling me some good things about Drake London.
He's my wide receiver one, so I forget. Man, see, that's what I'm saying. 22 is crazy. It's gonna be a wild draft, bro. I don't know what these Raiders are.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's a pipe dream. Drake London being there at 22.
You think so?
Would be awesome.
Maybe
because he's too big.
He's working out April 5th. He is gonna work out April 5th.
If he was 6'2", 6'3", that played like that, okay. Yeah, but he's 6'5" and plays like that. So
I'll let BD talk about Stingley a little bit. I see Stingley in the chat.
You talk about Stingley. I like Stingley. I said that first.
I never said that Stingley isn't good. See, I'm saying that the buzz is even leaving the combine. The buzz is Stingley is gonna fall to around that range.
Okay,
so there is a chance that he could be a Raider. There's a chance. It's there.
So again, I was like, if Sauce is on here, Stingley's got to be on here. Marcus said no. EC, he's at the combine. He's the ears on the ground here. I got to trust him, man. But yeah, I agree. That was somewhere that I leaned. Okay, so if we're talking about wide receivers, I hate it when something like this happens, because if we're talking about wide receivers and 2 wide receivers go, and we're getting the 3rd best or the 4th best wide receiver, I hate when stuff like that happens. We're getting the 4th best corner or something. I'm a little worried about, picking at that point in the draft, tackle, corners, wide receiver, and because I always feel like at that point there's already been 3 or 4 taken in front of you, and now you're kind of getting what's ever left over. Yeah. So I'm a little worried there. There might be like a guy who can be dominant sitting right there at maybe a little less valuable position. You know what I'm saying? I already said I don't like linebacker in the first, but Devin Lloyd, come on, that's a really good prospect. Yeah. Right there. I need to watch him more. I just have, skimmed over his film over this last couple of years, but he's a guy that's been super impressive to me. Kyer Elam, honestly, if you're saying that he's going to be gone or that he's not going to be gone, he might be in play at 22. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we got to go Kyer Elam, honestly. Like, so he's my third corner right now. Stingley's and Gardner are my twos. I'm 1 and 2. But Elam's close for sure. Those three guys are my top three, and they're all dominant. Like, I all see them, like, there's a clear path to being like really good in the NFL. So if you're saying Elam's going to be there, there's a chance that he's going to be there at 22. This, not only that, but like, he came to the combine. Not only does he have great film, okay, he has great film. He's strapping these guys at Alabama. It's like he's contesting catches. He's raking the catch point. Like, it's not like he just didn't get tried. Like, they were trying him, right?
Yeah.
And he was not. Yeah, and he was holding his own in there. Super competitive, super feisty. And then when he comes to the combine, he's legit 6'1", over 6'1", 6'1.5". He runs 4.4s. It's like, okay, this is the prototype. This is perfect. We don't got question marks about anything here. So for me, I'm seeing a guy that I think is going to be gone by 22 when I'm watching this film, because these top three corners that I'm talking about right now, they're all better than, like, even like, go back to like the Jeffrey Okudah, Damon Arnett draft. These guys are better than those corners, all of them. You know what I'm saying? So like, I see Elam going before 22. Just my opinion. But if you're saying that he's there, I gotta say, like, that would be an incredible pick.
Yeah. I don't, now that I think, I don't know if Elam's going to be there. But a lot of people do like Booth better than him. That's one guy that, one player.
Booth
like.
is 4. Booth is 4 for me.
Some people like Booth better than him. So somebody might like some of these corners behind him. It just, every time I see Daniel Jeremiah lower on somebody, like, I just worry about like how high they're gonna go, because he wasn't that high on Eli at first. Maybe he's moved up a little bit on him, but that's why I was like, you go to draft Twitter, nobody could believe that Charles Cross would be there at 22, but you go to the NFL side, they're like, oh, Charles Cross is gonna be there at 22. So it's that kind of look of who do you trust? Yeah, the film will tell you that guy probably should go early because he's a top corner, right? But he just doesn't have that buzz around his name a lot right now. I mean, that Sauce Gardner has, or that even Stingley has a little bit, or Andrew Booth has a lot of buzz around his name. And then you get to Elam, and it's like, yeah, okay, he shut down all those guys, but I might like Sauce Gardner because he played in Cincinnati or whatever. It's interesting how they look at some of these corners, but Eli just cracked me up. His whole press conference cracked me up because he talked about the Alabama game, pissed him off because he thought they threw him at him too much. He thought it was disrespectful that somebody would actually disrespect him.
Yeah,
throw them.
Though they were like, it was like they thought he was
much.
Their worst player. Did he change his number right before the game or something like that? He must have got something mixed up. There was a typo in the scouting report. They were like, we're gonna pick on this number, but it was the wrong.
I could feel like he really did feel disrespected by that. Like, yeah, I thought it was disrespectful of it, and so I that's why I played my best game that game, because I thought it was just like, are you throwing at me this much? do you not watch the film? It's basically. That's why I like him, man. 22, man. That dude's a dog. That dude he's not gonna back down from nobody. Tyreek Hill, he's gonna. Coach, can I go guard him? He's gonna want to go guard Tyreek Hill day one.
Yeah. No, right? Incredibly feisty, incredibly competitive. Yeah, like that, like popping the tape on those three guys. It's like, this is a first round corner. Yeah, Booth, I also liked, why you brought him up. I like Andrew Booth. I think he's got fantastic footwork. I just don't see him, like, was he dominant? You know what I'm saying? Like, like, these other guys are dominant. Like, Booth is really good. He's a technician. I don't know if he's at, like, quite the same athletic profile. He's, like, a little smaller, not quite as explosive, right? But coming in already with advanced technique, he's going to play early. You know what I'm saying? I just don't know if he's going to be like an all-pro. Whereas, like, I could see those other guys being all pros. So that's why I have them slightly ranked higher. But yeah, like Andrew Booth, I like him a lot. He's a better corner coming out than Trayvon Mullen was. Definitely a first round corner. Great feet, everything. So there's, I mean, right now I'm seeing 4 first round corners.
I haven't seen them all yet, but I'm going to get into McCreary. He's pretty small. There's probably no way he's going in the first round, but I'm hearing good things about McCreary, so I want to watch him too. And then the Woolen kid who was 6'4" and ran a 4.2. It's like unheard of. But like literally like they have the miles per hour. That I did a Twitter post. They have the miles per hour on him. Okay, and they're like, oh, he reached top speed of whatever, and the top speed was right at 40. So he was gaining speed the entire time, and elite athletes can actually continue to gain speed to like up to like 60 meters or so, like an Olympic athlete, right? Like I'm not talking like, sorry, not an elite athlete, an Olympic athlete, okay, could do that. And this guy was like gaining speed. He's like getting 25 miles per hour, and hold on. Tyson Gay runs 26 miles per hour. Like this guy's like almost an Olympic sprinter. Are you kidding me? So and at 6'4". So that Woolen kid, super interested in him. You were saying he was getting beat at the Senior Bowl. I bet he's probably raw. Like I said, 4th round, baby. Let's get him on the team, okay? He'll play in the NFL until he's 40, okay? Like when he loses a step, he's still running 4.4s. You realize that at 33, when he loses a step, he's running 4.5. At 6'4". Okay, so I ranted about Woolen. Okay, there's a couple other guys here.
Okay.
What if we go tackle or guard offensive line? Do you see that going? You already talked about Linderbaum. Is Cross an option for you? Is that an option for the Raiders in the first round? What do you think?
Yeah. I think it is. I think it's an option for them in the first round. The weird thing about leaving the combine and a lot of the buzz around the combine is the Raiders they're not connected to any offensive lineman. They're not anything. I mean, they're not really. There was no formal interviews with offensive linemen. There was no. There's offensive linemen available. They're not like Ryan Jensen and a lot of these big guards are available. The Raiders aren't connected to any of them, right? And I'm telling you, I mean, at the combine is where where every source for the free agency comes from. They all go to the same restaurant that they wouldn't let me in. I'm still pissed. I'm getting in there next year. I don't care. I'm getting in there. I made a reservation. They canceled it on me. I'm still mad about this. I was about to get in.
Really?
About to get in, man. About to get in, right?
Wait, this is the steakhouse, St. Elmo's or whatever?
Prime 47 is a steakhouse. So you got to get in the JW Marriott lobby bar, which I didn't know about. Nobody told me about this. That's what happens. You don't know anything. But I know for next year, I'm getting that lobby bar, bro. I'm coming back. All right. We got some sources here, guys. We're know who the Raiders are drafting before anybody else. Let me get them sources. Right. But then the Prime 47 bar, which they didn't let me in, which I made a reservation and it just magically canceled. I don't know why. I still blame Jerry Jones. I don't know why I want to blame Jerry Jones, but I feel like the thing canceled. He had to get in there. I'm really bothered by that, man. But yeah, the buzz of the combine is that the Raiders have no connection to any offensive linemen. I said that to on Twitter a little bit. People were like, "Well, it doesn't mean anything." Well, I think it kind of does. You figure like, Ryan Jensen is a big player, right? I mean, if the Raiders were looking for offensive linemen, you figure that some people would say they're connected to some of these players. So offensive line, I think they will probably add somebody at some point in the draft. I still have to do more research on these offensive linemen. I mean, I watched like all the Senior Bowl guys, but there's a lot of different players that were there that could be intriguing for them. Like even the guy you posted, Abraham Lucas, and those guys from Washington State. Those are intriguing players that they could look at inside. I like the center from Memphis, Dylan Parham. I forgot his name. I was about to say the dude from the 6'9" guy, but he's not him. But I think his name is Dylan Parham too, but it's not.
Donald Parham is the tight end.
Dylan Parham is the center from Memphis.
Oh, okay. Got it.
He has good tape too. But I mean, this haven't been connected to any offensive lineman. And people don't want to hear this about the offensive line the Raiders have, but they're young, right? They're young.
Why draft a rookie guard? You already have Simpson. He's a project for you. You already drafted one. There he is.
Yeah.
Why draft another offensive lineman? You already drafted a first round offensive lineman last year. Work with it.
And we forget they have Denzel Good. Denzel Good is just chilling. Everybody forget what he right. He got hurt a long time ago. It wasn't like he got hurt he got hurt early on.
early. Yeah.
So he's gonna be ready for camp. Denzel Good's coming back. They could find a right tackle. They just go get Morgan Moses. Bam, solid right tackle.
Teams find a right tackle every year.
I know.
Every year.
We just had Tom Cable just throwing Brendan Parker out there. No, go get Morgan Moses. He can come in. He's be solid. Will he get beat? Yes. Will he get beat every week? No. That's what the kind of right tackle you want right there.
Yeah.
Decent run blocker, fill in, and then they might even make Good and Simpson battle out again. That's probably what's going to happen. They're probably going to make Good and Simpson battle it out.
Yeah.
Right. And figure out what happens. And they asked McDaniels, what does he do with Leatherwood? And his answer was funny. He was like, well, first I'm going to fix his technique. And then I figure out where he's going to put it. Which I thought was a great answer. People didn't like that. People were like, well, what does that mean? What do you mean? He's like, basically that he sucks right now. And we need to make sure that he can block somebody first before we decide. I love that answer. It's like, can we make sure he could block somebody first before we decide where he could?
That's hilarious.
Because that's basically what he said. He's like, well, he can't block anybody right now. So how about he can't? His hands are terrible and he's all over the place. So how about we make sure he could block first, and then we figure out where we want to put him. And I still think he stays inside, though. I don't think they move him back inside. That would be smart. So they'll probably just bring in somebody that can play right tackle and play it decent. And if they want to draft somebody, it'd be for depth. I think they'll do.
And then when it's time to pick up Simpson's 5th-year option, even if he's playing good, they won't, because they're gonna have to pay him like a tackle.
Well, yeah. Well, he's a 4th-round pick anyway, so he'll be fine. Yeah.
No, I'm sorry, not Simpson. Leatherwood. That's what I meant.
Leatherwood. And even with Simpson gets a lot of crap because of PFF grades. I still think he played a little better than people think too. I don't think he was terrible. I think he got his ass kicked by really good guys. Really good guys kicked his ass. There's no really question around it. Cam Hayward's, the Chris Jones's, they kicked his ass, and that's what he has to work. He has to figure out. But little average defensive tackle ain't getting past him. Even with his terrible technique, no average defensive tackle is getting past him in run blocking or anything. The superstars are kick his ass, and that's what he has to figure out. Like, how do I stop these superstars from just running over me every play? It just tossing me like I'm 330 pounds. Why are superstars tossing me around? He has to figure that out, and I think if he can figure that out, he could take the next step. But and Leatherwood can get coached up. Andre James, I guess he's all right. I don't know what their plan is with that. So, he's all right.
Yeah.
He's all right.
It's safe to assume we're going to see some new faces, but according to Marcus at the Combine, not hearing any whispers about adding a rookie. We'll see about that. That's interesting. Okay, so one last question before we get out of here.
Yeah.
Wide receiver. I think it's an option. I think it's a possibility. Mm-hmm. I think defensive end is also a huge need. But if you look outside of those 3 guys that we named that for sure are going, right? Mm-hmm. I guess if Karlaftis is there, if you like that guy, he seems to me like, maybe that fits. I need to watch him more to know for sure if that's like a good scheme fit for Graham. But that's not like a speed rusher or anything. Correct me if I'm wrong. Karlaftis
is not a speed rusher. No, he's a power rusher.
No. Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe it makes more sense. I'm just looking at this list. We know Hutchinson's gone. We know Thibodeau's gone. Karlaftis, power rusher. Davis, Ojabo, speed rusher, but probably going to be gone most likely, right? And then the guys I'm hearing after this, Drake Jackson from USC, Enigbare, Jermaine Johnson, are any of those guys, like none of those guys are first round options at 22, right? No. Okay, so then wide receiver. Between the two Ohio State wide receivers, if it comes down to those guys, which is your preference and why?
Garrett Wilson. I take Garrett Wilson because I feel like Garrett Wilson has a upside to be a dominant number 1 player. Like he has upside to be dominant number 1. There's flashes of dominance on the field. Olave just looks like he's good. Olave reminds me of Golden Tate. I don't know how fast Golden Tate ran, but Golden Tate used to run past people. Golden Tate still ran past people. I don't know. Maybe Golden Tate had 40 training.
Yeah. my boy in college, he went and he got a free agent contract out of college to go play with the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah.
And when we saw him, he was talking about how he was going up against Golden Tate in practice, and he's like, Golden Tate is the smallest, slowest wide receiver out there, and he's just so good. Like, he just beats everyone. Yeah, he's 5'10" and he can't jump, and the guy's just killing me out there. So yeah, goes to show you all that combine stuff, you could throw it out the window, right?
Exactly.
But okay, so Garrett Wilson, you like him, you think he's a dominant. Okay, so what is he doing that's dominant? I haven't watched Garrett Wilson. I really haven't. I mean, other than, obviously I watched the Ohio State games this year, but I haven't cut his tape on. What is he dominant at?
He's a crossover route runner. So, I mean, if you, especially against off coverage, you're done. There's really nobody's guarding him off coverage. I don't care who you are. Off coverage, you're getting done up by Garrett Wilson. He's dynamic in off coverage. He reminds me of Odell Beckham, the way he gets in and out of breaks in versus off. And I know some people try to say Olave does it better. I don't know. I show it to me. I don't get it. But he's just so quick in and out of his breaks. He just can. He hits people's blind spots and breaks out his he's a crossover route runner, so he's gonna cross you, bro. I mean, you're getting crossed, you're getting done up. Press coverage though, right? Against press, it changes a little bit, right? Okay. He's just not the same guy, so he has to work on his release, and it's kind of funny, Brian Hartline's kind of revved up as great wide receivers coach, but Olave and him have false steps, so as soon as they come off the release, boom, it's right in your chest. It gets like Michigan or Penn State, they're right in their chest, right? And then they'll go play a different team, and boom, it's right in his chest, right? Because they have a little bit of false steps. They got to work. He's got to fix his release to match his route running ability. His release does not match his route running ability, and that's his issue. And he has a lot of concentration drops, but he's really fast. He's fast. There's times where he looks like a monster trying to leap over people, making catches. He can make contested catches at times. It's all he's upside type of guy. Like, he's just not a finished product, basically, at this point. But
do you believe in the whole weight thing
too?
Do you believe in the whole weight thing?
Not really. Not anymore.
Because Smitty had a good year last year, right?
Yeah, he did. Not anymore. I think it's more about how strong you are, and he's not very strong. So, and either is Olave. Those guys aren't. They're not physical through the route. So yeah, it's like Jerry Jeudy, right? Jerry Jeudy, yay, separate. You can separate. We're all excited, and we all love separation. But I think sometimes, you can't separate all the time. I mean, when you're playing high level NFL players, you're not just going to do them up. You're not doing up everybody. Even Stephon Diggs, even Stephon Diggs doesn't do up everybody every single play. He's got to make a contested catch sometimes. He's got to be physical at the catch point. He's got to fight through the press to create separation late. That's what Jamar Chase does so well. Like, Jamar Chase is not, everybody tell you they all knocked him coming out because he wasn't a great route runner, right? He's not because he's not Jerry Jeudy. He doesn't wiggle, and there's not the shakings. People aren't falling, but he's the most physical guy through press. He's going to be physical through the route, and he's got enough wiggle to get open against off coverage. So it's.
I also don't think with Chase. Is it that he doesn't have wiggle, or is it like that he's not constantly trying to kill people with his route running? He doesn't have to always be rocker step and all this stuff. No, he can just literally two-step and fight through press and just win vertical, right? So I think that a lot of times when you see these guys are oh, he's a sick route runner, it's no, he just shakes a lot, and that's what people think, triple stepping at the top of your route equals, oh, you're a great route runner because you did a triple step at the top of your route. No, that's not necessarily what that means. Maybe that's an example, right? But that doesn't necessarily mean that you are a great route runner, right? The great route runners are the guys they have a million different things that they can do, and they're getting ready and they're going to do it according to what you are giving them as a defender, right? That's what the great route runners are. So they might not have to get into all these crazy routes to win in a certain game because of how what the looks that they're getting. You don't have to sit there and constantly try to do people on the routes. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of that gets overanalyzed because all we can see, like all like the casual fan sees, is the foot fires and the jab steps. You know what I'm saying? And the head fakes, the nods, and then they go somewhere, so like, and they go, oh, he's a sick route runner or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's deeper than that, basically.
It's a lot deeper than that.
And that's what they miss on Jamar Chase, or I mean, the NFL didn't, obviously, right? But people online who were critiquing his route running skills is like, yeah, but he doesn't need to do that. He wins in other ways, and that's why I like Drake London. I mean, I think Drake London has a little bit of crossover route running in his repertoire too, because I feel like he moves like a big shooting guard. So for that size, and he has that ability, so that's why I'm really high on him. But he's not like the ultimate route runner either. But he also, when he's double teamed and the ball's coming to him, he's like, I'm catching it. So, and he comes back to the football. Like you don't, how many guys coming out of college? Jamar Chase does too. Jamar Chase does a great job coming back to the football. And how many guys come back to the football? And that's what Drake London does so well. He made right. They come back to the football, and that's a big thing. And that's route running too. You could run the best route in the world, but you guys shaking, and your quarterback has a weak arm, and you're sitting there.
Right.
Boom.
You run a sick route, and then the wind carries it. Okay, are you going to adjust? Yeah, exactly. So after all of those critiques that you had for Garrett Wilson, okay, would you still be okay with the Raiders taking him at 22 because you think that the dominant possibilities there?
Possibilities, dominance, and there'll be some guys in the NFL he's going to shake, especially against off. I mean, you face a lot of press in the NFL, but I mean, you're not going to face press every single down. So you could mix them up, get on some sluggos, get some off coverage teams, get some zone coverage teams that want to play like their little man match coverages and play off, not play press. Get him on some sluggos, get him on some good route running where he can set him up and he can be effective. And I think he could be a good red zone guy early on if you can set him up really well. But the real guy that we haven't talked about at all, that I know we're talking about the first round, but I think the plug and play guy for this, there's two plug and play guys. There's Jameson Williams is a plug and play guy too, because they already ran this offense.
He's okay. That's true. Good point.
Plug and play him. He's gonna figure it out. He knows the language. He knows the verbiage. Blah blah blah. He probably could teach some of the players the verbiage. Same with John Mechie. Those two guys
those are first rounders.
No, they're not.
They're not.
Well,
Jameson Williams has an injury.
They both did. They both tore theirs.
They both did. Yeah.
And Mechie was limping a little bit during his interviews at the combine. So
Mechie's was the recent one, right?
Yeah. No, they both were, bro. They were both really recent. So it's gonna be interesting to see where they go. But both those guys are plug and play.
Because wasn't Jameson Williams supposed to be like freak fast?
Oh yes, he is freaky fast.
Yeah, that sucks for him.
He has one release. He's a speed release. He does no other releases, so that's why Elon area to shut him down. It's like, okay,
those type of players, to me, that's a second round player. That's a third round. That's a day 2 guy. Incredible athlete, limited. And it's not like they got it all. They do one thing really, really well. That's a second day guy for me. All right, so I think we canceled out a lot of options here. Okay.
Yeah.
So if we do wide receiver, you're good with Garrett Wilson. Obviously, you'd be good maybe with Drake London. Burks seems like we're questioning maybe how prepared he was. I'd still be good with Burks. Okay. The clip of Burks catching the back shoulder fade, then reversing field, and then taking an angle out running like 5 Alabama defenders. Okay. Yeah. He does not run 4.59. I'm sorry.
He doesn't.
There's no way you can run 4.6 and outrun 5 Alabama defenders. Secondary. There's no way. Okay. He's way faster than that. dominant athlete. If Treylon Burks falls because of a questionable 40, like that's the closest guy to Jamar Chase. You know, the only reason that we're not even talking, people aren't talking about him is because the combine or whatever, right?
Yeah.
You know, but like, I mean,
his pro day's tomorrow. He can fix it.
Let's see him fix it. Let's see him fix it for sure. Hopefully he doesn't, because for me, that's a dominant guy outside the numbers. Treylon Burks, you know, but I guess there's a couple good wide receiver options. We'll see what happens there.
All right. Is there any other questions?
No, that's it. That's it for me, man.
Yeah. I do want to talk. I do want to say this because I like. I know y'all heads might explode, but why not start trading picks for known players? We're not good at drafting. Well,
Calvin has a point there. Calvin has a point.
I mean,
that's good.
I mean, who will we trade for right now? What players available for first rounds that you could trade for that would make a huge impact? That's available.
I mean, for first rounds, you know, that loosens it up a little bit, you know, in terms of people wanting to hold on. Yeah, obviously, we're not talking about like one of the top 20 players in the NFL, you know, but
I don't know. I mean, besides Russell Wilson, there hasn't been a surprise trade. I guess. We didn't talk about that. I guess
if the Raiders need to trade a second to get James Bradbury,
yeah,
that's worth
that's
true.
Yeah, that's worth the second. Yeah, trade a third for Brandon Cooks.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, for sure, 100%. Imagine drafting a third wide receiver, like that's Brandon Cooks. You know.
I mean,
at least Brandon Cooks knows the scheme. You know, like you don't have to teach him anything. So it's okay. I like that. Yeah, but first round, it's tough. It's tough for a GM to trade his first round.
DK Metcalf, I guess. I see that in the chat. DK Metcalf, you give a first round pick up for. I give up 22 for DK Metcalf.
Yeah, why not? Why not? I wouldn't cry about that. I would actually be excited. I'd be like, yeah, we got.
Hey. I'd be like, hey.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. First for DK, a second for Bradbury, a third for Brandon Cooks. Let's go.
Oh, we're done. Yeah, let's do it. It's not even
draft over.
Yeah, right. I like that.
All right, guys, right here. Subscribe. What else we got? I forgot everything. Follow us on Twitter at @TheMarkJohnNFL, at BD Williams 18. Manscaped.com, I think. Are we still doing Manscaped? I don't know.
Hit a Manscaped.
Yeah, hit a Manscaped. We don't know.
Sure, whatever.
Sure. Buy something if you want. TDL might work. DK Metcalf, he probably is the number one receiver on this team because we can just throw deep to him and he just runs. And that's all we need.
There you go.
Anyways.
That's all we need.
All right, guys. Peace.
All right. Peace, y'all.